Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is, here's some more spaghetti for your plate. Inside joke. But this is pretty much based off of the last lesson that we just did concerning the Gentiles and how to distinguish between the two. And pretty much the last precept I had left you with was in Deuteronomy 32. So I'm going to hit this point. Actually, it wasn't Deuteronomy 32. It was actually Romans, the 15th chapter. And I wanted to tie it back in to Deuteronomy, but what happened was, it kind of slipped my mind. So I just said, you know what, let me just leave it alone. The Spirit wants me to revisit it. I will. And pretty much this is something that Spirit had me bring out years ago, but it just came back up again. So I want to show you something and how sometimes things get a little crazy when it comes to the scriptures and the way that they wrote them out in the English. But here in Romans 15:10, it says, and again he saith, rejoice ye Gentiles with his people. This is not talking about the actual Gentiles. It's talking about the Israelite foreigners. Okay. Now this was a quote directly from Deuteronomy 32 that the Apostle Paul brought out. And the actual verse is in the 43rd verse. And I want to show you something. It says right here, rejoice, O ye nations. And it says here, with his people, right? For he will avenge the blood of his servants and will render vengeance to his adversaries and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. Now, when you see this, it seems like it's saying, rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, almost signifying like, okay, well, he's talking about all the other nations to rejoice with his people. That's what it sounds like if you take it for face value in the English. But when you scroll through here and you look at the word with, it's italicized. And that's why it's written in a little different than the rest of these other words. It's a little, it's kind of like at a slant. It's kind of slanting forward. This is an italicized, meaning when something is italicized, it means that it was inserted in there. This is not a part of the original text. Okay? Because I believe the Hebrew word for with is ath. All right? Now, let's scroll down here. And it says, rejoice, O ye nations. You have Ranan Gawayim, right? Rejoice ye nations with. And what happened to with? There's nothing here. Why? Because the word with is not in the actual text. This was something that was added. Then it says, rejoice, O ye nations, his people. Now let me get a precept that just came to mind. Which vocab the devil Malone looks for precepts that we go to, which are strongholds of the scriptures, to try to dismantle and destroy them. To try and debunk what's being taught. Now, rejoice ye nations, O ye nations, his people. That's what should be written here. Rejoice, O ye nations, his people. Now, Lord's will I remember to come back here. Matter of fact, no, let me do it now because I want to check out the other Bible translations. Now, when you read through here, it says ha, which is the, Ranan Yanawa, which is, Rananya is rejoice. I will have to look it up. I never looked up the word rejoice. Then the word Nawa is usually our, but I guess it's rejoice, ye nations. Right here, Gawayim. So rejoice, Gawayim, nations. I'm Wa, his people. Wa at the end is he or his. So rejoice, nations, his people. You see? So the word with is not there. That's why it's italicized. Now let me just, before I hit this other point, matter of fact, another precept came to mind. Let me get that. Let me see what it says here. Rejoice ye nations with his people. Let me jump down to the NLT. Rejoice with him, you heavens, and let all the God's angels worship. Rejoice with his people, you nation. Nope. These are all wrong. So you see the original text is Ha Ranan Rana Yun Rana Yanawa, the rejoice or rejoice Gawayim nations, Imwa, his people. Because this is talking about the Israelites. Now, why does it say nations? Why doesn't it just say nation? Because the nation of Israel is obviously a nation. Well, this is the reason why. And when you read Romans 15 and 10, and again he says, rejoice ye nation, his people. It should be, not with his people. Rejoice ye nations, his people. That's what should be there, because the original text is what, and that's what's written in the original text. All right. Now, when we go to Genesis, because we got to break down why does it say nations plural and not nation singular, because we know that the nation of Israel is the people of the Most High. So Genesis 28 and 10 is Jacob's dream, what they call Jacob's ladder. They have a movie called Jacob's Ladder. Excellent movie if you ever get the chance to see it. I'm not sure if it came out in the late 70s or 80s, but it's an excellent, or maybe the 90s, but it's an excellent movie to watch. It shows you how, there's demons. Every time you go to these different parties and clubs and all that, nothing but demons popping off and oozing off of people. So Jacob's dream. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set, and he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows. How many of you can sleep on stones for pillows? Our forefathers back then was rough as hell, man. I don't think we would last too long back then trying to sleep on a goddamn rock. That would be kind of rough. It says, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of the Most High ascending and descending on it. Right, this represents the spirits, from the heavens, the angels coming back and forth to the earth, through the Lord, through what they call so-called portals. They have something called ley lines, which are heavy spiritual spots, where there's certain things that happen there. That's the best I could explain it, because I don't know exactly how it works, but the Lord does. It says, and behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, power of Abraham thy father, and the power of Isaac, the land wherein thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. Why? Because that seed, singular, is the seed that the Lord promised Abraham, which his name was Abram at the time, in Genesis 12, to receive the blessings, right? And that in all nations they shall be blessed. Why? Because the Israelites will be scattered among all of these nations, right? It says, and thy seed, singular, Jacob, the Lord speaking to Jacob. This is Yahweh speaking to Jacob. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. Why? Because the Lord is going to scatter the nation of Israel throughout the four corners of the earth. And from there, still going to be multiplying and growing. And in thy seed, and in thy seed's seed, you Israelites, shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Why? Because you're going to be spread out. So you're going to be, these nations, you're going to be amongst all of these nations. You're going to multiply amongst all of these nations. Therefore, you will be blessed in all of these nations. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all the places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. Genesis 35 and 9. Jacob's name is Israel, so his name was changed to Israel. Jacob Ya'aquab, which means supplanter, and Israel Yasha'Allah, which means Yah is he, Shar is prince, and Allah is God. He is a prince of the power, or a prince with God, or a prince of God, right? There's not Isis, Ra, and El. That's English. That's English, so you could understand. The name Israel comes from the Hebrew. The pure language of the earth is the Hebrew. Inside joke. And the powers appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Padanaram and blessed him. And the power said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall be called no more Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. Okay? So now it went from Jacob to Israel. The seed of the chosen are the ones that come out of Jacob. Jacob and his children. His name was changed to Israel. Israel, in loosely translated as a word Elder Pastor uses a lot, is the sons of God. And the power said unto him, I am the power almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. Jacob, Israel, right? A nation, because we are a nation, and a company of nations shall be of thee. So this is what it's talking about, because each tribe is as big as a nation. It says, and kings shall come out of thy loins, right? And that happened. We had kings among the southern kingdom and kings among the northern kingdom. All right. So a nation and a company of nations shall be of thee. When we look up this word nation, before we look that up, let's look up the word company. The word there is quahal. Assembly, company, congregation, convocation, which the word convocation means with calling. Congregation means con is with, Greg is flock. Congregation, the word Greg or Gregory, that means flock. So with the flock. Company is with bread. Com is with pan, bread. And then you have assembly. For evil counsel, war of invasion or invasions, religious purposes. Okay, so a company, meaning a group, an assembly, and then it says of nations, plural, S. The word there is gawayim. The singular is gawaya. And then you see here gawayim. Now the word gawayim, which is the way you say nations or Gentiles. I believe even the word heathen may fall under this same Hebrew word. I will have to look it up just to make sure. But the singular is gawayim. So it's translated as Gentiles, nations, and it might also be translated as heathen. Let me try this. Heathens doesn't appear, so let's try heathen, because heathen is plural. Shall be of thee round about the heathen. This is talking about the servants that shall be of thee, which are the heathen, which is the word ha-gawayim. Ha is the, gawayim is nations. Okay? So it all depends on the context. So the Lord told him that a nation and a company of nations shall be of thee. And the power said unto him, I am the power almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee I will give it. And that promise, which included the land, which included an oath, was only to the nation of Israel. So when you go back to Genesis 12 and it speaks about Abraham and all families being blessed in his seed, that was talking about the singular seed of the nation of Israel. Because when we go to Romans, real quick, the 9th chapter and the 4th verse, it says, I start at 3, for I could wish that myself were accursed from Yahushua for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, and the promises. Whose are the fathers, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The fathers of what? The fathers of the promise. And of whom, as concerning the flesh, Yahushua came. Concerning the flesh, Yahushua came for these individuals. That's what the adoption is about. Who is overall the Most High, blessed forever. Amen. Right? Because he is a God, but he is not the God Most High. But he is a God, just like angels are gods, just like we are gods. But there are different levels to God-dom. Not as though the word of the Most High have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. Why? Because you have the elect of the Most High, or the Israel of the Most High, and you have the rest of Israel, which are just regular Israelites. They are not a part of the elect. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham, because Abraham had many seeds. He didn't just have one seed, he had many seeds. Are they all children? But in Isaac shall thy seed, what seed? The seed of the promise, be called. Because it went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, which Jacob's name was changed to Israel. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, those that were born out of Abraham's loins. You had Sarah, you had Hagar, you had Keturah. These are not the children of the Most High, right? So what were the children of the Most High out of those three women? It says, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed, singular. And for this is the word of promise, at this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. So this is the word of promise. This is what is meant by Genesis 12, that promise. For this is the word of promise. The Apostle Paul is breaking it down the same way the Old Testament breaks it down. The way these wacky-tacky Christians don't want it to be broken down, because it excludes all heathens. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son, because Sarah is the mother that would have the son of the promise, Isaac. And not only in this, and not only just in Sarah, because that was just the beginning. It passed from Abraham to Isaac. But when Rebekah, because when Isaac got with Rebekah, this is where the finality of the seed would end up at. But when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by her father Isaac, she didn't have 20 husbands. For the children, be it not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High, according to election, might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth, because the Most High said it so. He's the one that promised Abraham. So who the hell are you to jump up and tell the Lord what he should or should not do? It says, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, which the elder was Esau, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Right. So if the Most High loved Jacob and hated Esau, that means he chose Jacob. That's why the fathers of the promise are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not Esau. Esau was close, but no cigar. He was right there. He was a runner-up, but no cigar. He even had the advantage of being the firstborn and had the birthright and the promise, or the blessing, and he lost both. Why? Because it wasn't his to begin with. It always belonged to Jacob. All right. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid. Why? Because the Lord chose one and rejected the other one. You go to the Apocrypha, it says the Lord chose Jacob, but he put by Esau. He pushed Esau away, even though Esau was the firstborn and had every right to the inheritance, of the blessing, because he was the firstborn, and that's how it was done. All right. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. This is when the Most High's name, Yahweh, was made famous. It was known, but it wasn't famous as it was after this. The Lord is setting it up right now for his name to be famous once again, once he destroys this place. And the whole world is going to know that Yahweh did it through his son, Yahushai. Because Yahushai is coming to do the bidding of his Father. Salakia. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardeneth. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? Why does he yet find fault with Esau? For who has resisted his will? Nobody resisted the will of the Most High. This is the Most High's will, not yours, vocab. You get it? You got it? You know, the Most High can do what he wants. You got it? Inside joke. It said, but it's true. The Most High can do whatever the hell he wants to do. He is the Most High. It gets no higher. You get no higher than the Most High. Nay, but oh man, who art thou that repliest against the Most High? You can't talk shit against the Most High. And, say, well, look, why are you doing this to me, Look, man, the Most High did it to you, E. Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Right, you can't say, why did the Lord made you a demonic red vessel unto dishonor? You can't get mad because your red ass is the wicked. Has not the potter power over the clay? The Most High is the potter, fool. It says of the same lump, right? The same lump of clay, because it came out of Isaac's loins. Same seed, 2 children. One was honorable, the other one was not. So like I'm having a little fun. Woo! Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? The Most High made your red ass dishonorable. Could. It says, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured much long suffering, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? Because the Most High wants to take your red ass out. But the Most High is bound by his word. And he's not going to break his word, not even for his great name's sake. Because his word is his bond. And he ain't going to break it for nobody. And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which are the Israelites, which he had afore prepared unto glory. This is why even in the womb it was told her that the elder shall serve the younger. But the one people shall be stronger than the other. And eventually, in process of time, the one that was younger was going to overtake the one that was older. This is why it so happened that when they were born, Esau came out first and Jacob had hold of Esau's heel. Because in process of time, Jacob will pull down Esau from the top position. Okay? Even us, whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. Here comes vocab sticking his big fat snake head in there. See? Also of the Gentiles. Well, wait a minute. This is the Gentiles. I'm pretty sure the word there is ethnos. But now, in the same breath, when Paul spoke about the Gentiles, it's almost looking like it's a separation between Jew and Gentile, right? In the same breath, he's talking about the Gentiles now, right? And he says, as he saith also in OC, which is Hosea, right? It says, I will call them my people, which were not my people. Yeah, see? That's the Gentile. They wouldn't call the people of the Lord, and her beloved, which was not beloved. See? They weren't beloved, so now they are beloved. Okay? All right, so let's go to Hosea. Let's precept that. Let's go to Hosea. Let's go to the link up to that. Hosea 1:10. Yet the number of the children of who? Israel shall be as the sand of the sea. So it should say, and the rest of the nations, right? It says, which cannot be measured nor number. So I don't see any mention of the nations here. It's talking about the Israelites. So the Israelites, although they're huge, and it shall come to pass in the future that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living power, or the living God. So when the Apostle Paul was addressing these Gentiles, and it seems like it was a separation between the Jews and the Gentiles, which the only separation was the custom, religion, and language barrier. It says, as he saith also in OC, speaking about the Gentiles, I will call them my people, which were not my people. Who was that? The Israelites. Who were these Gentiles? Israelites. Get that through your fat, demonic, greasy head. and her beloved, which was not beloved. This is talking about the Israelites. That's why the Lord said he will have mercy on whom he will have mercy. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. Because at one time, the Israelite foreigners were not calling on the Most High. The name of the Most High wasn't even called on them because they were being called by the titles of Greeks and by the title of other heathen nations where they were scattered abroad. Let's go to Isaiah 65:1. I am sought of them that asked not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. Why? Because the Lord made himself available to them. Because they were Israelites that were scattered and they were lost. And they had to be brought back. Behold me unto a nation that was not called by my name, right? Because the Lord said, these are not my people anymore. And when you go back to Hosea, the first chapter, I believe it's this one here. Right here, the 8th verse. Now when she had weaned Leruhamah, which the word Leruhamah means not having obtained mercy, she conceived, this is Gomer, which was the woman, or, the hired harlot, yes, hired harlot of a prophet of the Most High. So like I'm being a little animated. She was actually bearing children. So he hired a hoe, and the hoe was popping out children for a prophet of the Most High. But you guys today, you faint when you hear about that. Oh, dealing with a harlot. Ugh, so disgusting. Acting like as if your woman was a virgin when you met her. She probably popped out other babies by other dudes before you even got with her. But, this woman, she's a harlot, so that can't be. Anyway. Now, when she had weaned Leruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. Then said the Most High, call his name Lo-Ami, which the word Lo-Ami, or name Lo-Ami, is a compound word, La-A-Aim-Ya, or actually 3 words. La-A-Aim-Ya. La-A is no or not. Aim is people. And Yah at the end is not my people. For you are not my people, and I will not be your power. So this scripture in the book of Isaiah 65:1 is talking about the Israelites. I am sought of them that asked not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me unto a nation that was not called by my name. Because they were gone. They became strange. The Most High disowned us. Then the Lord had mercy on us again and reconciled us back to him. Ain't that grand? So that's what I, just wanted to go over that because I wanted to bring out the point that in Deuteronomy 33:43, this is talking about the Israelites being called nations. Rejoice, ye O ye nations, his people, because the word with does not appear there. It's italicized. When you look here, the word with, there is no number or Hebrew word to go to because it doesn't exist there. When we go to Romans 15, and again he saith, rejoice ye Gentiles, his people. That's what it should read. Now, I don't know if it's going to say it in any of these because it's probably all going to say with his people. And even if it's written like that, which is not, it's talking about the Israelite foreigners rejoicing with the ones that knew that they were Israelites. But this is not, this goes back to Deuteronomy 32. All right, so with that was a little more spaghetti for your plate. I pray the Lord that it was edifying. To the next time I say Shalom and Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai for the constant feeding, and the constant nourishing and the constant inspiration. Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai Tawada Aman. Shalom.